Welcome back to Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast here, kids. We decided to hit the record button today because I'm this close to doing a new podcast. And these two guys didn't help at all because I'm trying not to do one and they keep coming up with ideas for me to do one. So by the time this drops, I may have 4 shows. I don't know. Because once I get infected, it spreads. It spreads like Ebola. I don't know. Welcome back to the show, folks. Tom Clark here with you as always, joined by Jay Luft and Joe Higgens. We are back today for episode 5. Can you believe it? We're almost to the midway point of season 3. Know what you're thinking? It's just going by like crazy. For you, maybe. Not for us. But you know what? Life happens. We all get busy. But we have made a commitment to finish this show up before we shuffle off this mortal coil. So hopefully we're all 3 still healthy by the time this thing hits. If not, I'll be sad. Or I won't because I'll no longer be here. So nothing like we're kicking the show off morbid, aren't we? I mean, I am anyway. So, Joe, we're kicking off today, episode 5, season 3 here. Can't wait to get this cranking here today. What's your initial thoughts coming into this here episode?
I mean, full disclosure, it's been a while since we've all been in the same thing to get to do this, and I forgot how much I love Ted Lasso. And to go back to this and be like, this is where we were up to, this is what's happening. Yeah, it's also a very good episode. It's not, I would say, not one of the better ones. It feels like a bit of a placeholder to set things up further down the line, but it's still a great episode. Like, it's still a Ted Lasso episode. It's still worth your watch, but it is one of those weird placeholders, and then we ramp up for the last, for the home stretch of it. But it's still good and has, again, one of my favorite performances in it ever by Katie Wicks.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jay, he set you up. Take it from there. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of world building in this episode, a lot of planting seeds for things that are going to come later on in the like, not even later on in the series, like literally like an episode or 2 away. It's just like little things that they're building up to, which we'll obviously get to when they happen. But yeah, it doesn't feel like the most important episode of the series for sure, but there are a lot of kind of consequential things that do come out of it when you look back at it from like later on in the series.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I've missed doing this, and every time we dive back into it, I always have the best time. The show prep is huge, kids, but it's always worth the end once we actually start recording. And I'm watching it back on mute right now for a second time today, and yeah, we're getting a pop up in the very beginning that I actually quite enjoyed. We'll get there when we get there, but I don't hate this guy. He's a piece of crap, but I don't hate him too much. But
I know exactly who you're referring to.
Of course.
And I have a question to ask when we get there.
Yes. Best last name ever, by the way. So let's do this, kids. As we said, this is episode number 5 here on the show. This one is called Signs, as you can see. Original air date April 12th, 2023. This one's directed by Matt Lipsey on a story by Jamie Lee. And as we've said previously, there are 12 episodes in season 3, almost to the midpoint here, kids. When last we left the Ted Lasso gang, Roy's early morning training sessions with Jamie began, despite Jamie's protests, as AFC Richmond headed to an important matchup against West Ham United. Beard and Roy used the footage of Nate's betrayal to motivate the team, despite Ted's objections, ultimately costing them the game, while Rebecca's discovery of Rupert's ongoing extramarital activities led her to confront him in the end. So that sets the stage of where we're heading. We're kicking off in grand style with the previously aforementioned Rebecca here in just a moment. But guys, we're opening on the pitch 1 month after the events of episode 4. So they're moving us right along in the calendar here. AFC Richmond has lost a tough game to Newcastle. Jay will be pretty happy about that. See, there you go. That's his team. Chris and Arlo are on the call lamenting the loss and mentioning that the Greyhounds are now in 9th place, that they have a game coming up midweek against Man City. They're blue sky tormentors. I like that line. We see a fan who, for some reason, the camera isolates, and he's a grown man going, boo, which, of all the things to yell.
Well, he becomes quite not important as in like he's an important character, but he's definitely an important plot piece.
Yeah, they've for the first time ever watching Ted Lasso, I went, something's going to happen with him.
Yeah,
because there's no reason for them to isolate his sound so much.
Even at like the last shot of him in this episode, it's like he's gonna get battered at some point.
Yeah,
someone's gonna Cantona him. Yeah,
you're right. This is definitely sowing the seeds for sure of something that's going to happen later.
Joe. Enjoyed that.
It's my 2 sporting references I know.
In Ted's office, Higgins is reading from his phone, and the quote is, "Even with Zava, Richmond eat more ass than your mum." Beard says, "Buddy, you got to get off Twitter." He goes, "This is a text from my father."
From his dad.
Great line.
I was like, "Oh, well done, Higgins Senior." Like, man, going for it.
It makes me wish we'd met his parents.
So, can you imagine?
An old cantankerous Mr. Higgins. Ted says, "I just don't get it. The effort was there as always. We just can't get over that hump. I don't know what the heck the problem is. Do you guys?" Higgins says, "Our defense is in shambles." Beard says, "Our offense is stale." And then Roy has to chime in. "And if the boys are going to fucking stand around fucking watching Zava all fucking match, we just make them buy fucking tickets."
Again, Roy is back to just doing Roy stuff tremendously.
Roy's outstanding in this episode.
I think it's this scene, the ending of this scene is one of my favorite Roy moments ever.
So good.
It completely slipped my mind because but it's there's a 7-match losing streak. We get the board again of Beard tallying the wins and losses. There's 7 matches in the hole now, and have plummeted right down since.
Do we get an idea of when this is?
I'm assuming this is about halfway through the season because at the end of this episode, he says we got City again at the end of the season. Right. So I'm assuming this is about midway through. They're on, I believe, Richmond are on 24 points. So if you can work out the maths of that, if they won X amount and then lost X amount, I mean, I don't want to get lost in the the maths of it.
Probably just before Christmas.
And it's easy. Is it that easy to do in this sport, Jay, where you guys are? Because I can tell you, like and I know we've talked about Jordan here before on the show for historical reference and whatnot, but like referees were accused at one time of just watching Jordan play instead of calling the game because he was just, he was just such an incredible player. Did you guys get moments of that where you as fans are going, all right, let's make some calls. What's going on here?
Yeah, like there's certain players that you'll see playing against you and you'll hate playing against them because they're so good. But you at the same time you can't help but go, all right, yeah, that's fair. He's great. There's quite a few. Messi's the one that always comes to mind because like you look at him and he's tiny little fella and you think, no, he's just gonna get pushed off the ball, and then you see what he can do. It's like, all right, yeah, that's why people think he's one of the greatest of all time. Because he's an actual witch. But yeah, there's a lot of players like that that you just kind of like, you can't help but go, even if they're playing against you, you can't help but go, oh, they are great though. Yeah. As I say, Messi's the one that for me that comes to mind. Or Zlatan. I like Zlatan.
And I would think maybe Beckham at some point, maybe during his prime, where like,
I don't know. Beckham's a weird one because he was definitely like an amazing player, but he was a bit more kind of, he'd pop up and have moments of greatness as opposed to just like being like a consistent driving force throughout the match.
So unlike Jordan or an Allen Iverson or a Kobe, he wasn't like taking over the game, in other words.
Yeah, that's correct. So where Beckham played, he was like a midfielder, so he's pretty much like he's controlling the game, but you don't necessarily notice how much he's controlling the game until you kind of look back and go, oh, right, that come through Beckham. Oh, that come through Beckham. Like he'd be passing the ball out to people and starting attacks, or he'd take free kicks and score wonder goals, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that's David Beckham. He's amazing. But a lot of him, it wasn't so much about goal scoring. It was more like more what you do in the middle of the pitch. Kind of what they're trying to sort of like portray Jamie as being like the passer. Everything goes through him in the middle. But players like that are always amazing to have in your team, but a lot of the time I wouldn't say be unsung heroes because you know how good they are, but
right.
If you've got like a striker who's scoring like 20, 30 goals a season, or you've got a player who's making like incredible passes game in, game out, that's creating the opportunity for that striker to score those goals. You're still going to probably talk about the guy who's scoring more than you are the guy who's running everything to get that ball to the guy who's going to score the goal.
It's to use the wrestling analogy. It's the ring general. It's the safe pair of hands.
Yeah.
It's the person putting other people over. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah. So
again, it's weird that no one mentions those, even though they're the play setters. And I never thought of that.
There are footballers like as Beckham's a prime example. Like there's players who do that role who absolutely get their flowers, but then there's also for like as I say, you're going to always remember the guy who's scoring the goal that's winning the game. You're not going to remember the guy who's like doing all the work to actually create that goal in the first place.
Like the setup guy, like no one knows the guy that gets all the assists, but the guy that's scoring all the dunks. He's dunking all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers Wayne Gretzky, but no one remembers the guy that gave him the puck. Yeah.
Right. Who was it? I don't even know. Yeah.
Arnold Jones. I had no idea. I thought I'd pressed my luck after my initial good shot with the sports point then, and then I just whiffed that, and I massively.
I'm here for your inventive, made-up names on the spot. I'm here for that. Always have been. So Ted's response is great. He says, "Okay, some constructive criticism. I appreciate that." Rebecca comes in.
It's the pause of when like Roy's done his bit, and he just goes, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, when Rebecca comes in, she goes from 0 to 60, and there's a couple of firsts in this episode. I will say this is the first of the first. Has she ever lost it in front of Ted's inner circle like this?
No, not to my knowledge.
Crazy.
But it's also a nice juxtaposition of when they were playing West Ham and she comes in and she's like, just beat them, but in a very quiet manner. And then this time she's just full on raging. Like 7-match losing streak. Are we ever going to win another match?
This kind of like, it's very, very much a commentary on like a modern day football owner in the sense that there's no patience for managers to like kind of get out of this rut. Which is why they've done what they've done, because like Chelsea are the ones who were infamous for it, where they literally like hire a manager, not performing after 6 months, get rid of him, get another one in, and which is not enough time to.
No, I don't see how anyone could get anything done in 6 months.
Yeah, like I think they've
worked at my job for 12 years. I still don't know people's names.
Yeah. And they've had something like, in the last 20 years, they've had something like 26 managers or something like that.
In 12 years?
20.
So?
Still.
Yeah. It's insane. It's absolutely fucking ludicrous. But yeah, I think that's more kind of like, obviously, throughout this episode, the pressure that's on Rebecca, that she's then sort of transitioning over to Ted is... So it's sort of like a bit of a nudge, wink, wink. Oh yeah, this is what all football owners are like. Because I do
like when Higgins broaches it with her. I do like that scene.
Oh, it's brilliant because I think that's what kind of grounds the whole thing for her as well, though. Like makes her realize that that's such a drastic decision I'd have to make if I'm going to do that.
Yeah. He's got results. It's just.
But also, he's mid-table after getting promoted. Like, there's no way in hell he should be getting considered
seven matches in a row.
Oh yeah, 7-match losing
normally
streak.
Colour manager.
It would be, but also in his position where he's been promoted from the Championship and then they're mid-table, so they're already safe. He's already mission accomplished. He's still in the Premier League at the end of the season.
And also, they've had 4 matches with Zava playing, and they're not winning. So I would, like, for me personally, I'm like, well, it's Zava's fault. It's me, obviously, but yeah, it's an interesting thing because normally I assume football. I don't know. Again, I don't know much about football in case I haven't made that clear. But normally, if they're losing for more than like 4 matches in a row, they start screaming for heads. Like they're like, we need to get rid of something. Something's not working. Like, it's 4 matches. Everyone could have had a, like
every team goes through a bad spell. Like
everyone does. But
look at
win
Liverpool in the summer. Jurgen Klopp left Liverpool. There was the whole, he's leaving. He's gonna have this fairy tale ending, and then he went on an absolute stinker of a fucking streaking through the league away. It's like, it doesn't matter. Like everyone has them.
Yeah, and we talked here before. It's not real, so I don't want to let myself get too bogged down. But we talked here
heavily based on like actual fact and like thing. Because even when they cut to the pub, like none of them are going like it's Ted's fault. They're just like, was it positive thought? I knew positive thinking was bullshit, and then May hits him.
But it's like, for me, not letting myself get dragged down. I still bump into this idea of when things get rough, you are looking to the guy as your leader to give you something. And Ted consistently doesn't really, he's just not, I love this show, but like, he's not giving you, do you know what I mean? Like,
at this point in the season, Ted kind of doesn't want to be there though, does he? He wants to go home.
Ted's heart's in Kansas, his head's in London.
Fair.
But it also, like, I think that there's a bit where obviously they're discussing like formations and they're discussing like obviously Zava, and throughout it feels like Ted didn't really want Zava in the first place.
No, he had a functioning unit. He had a phalanx of players. And putting Zava in there, yes, he's a tremendous player. But it's that bit of where Zava fiddles about with all the buttons on the board, and then it's just everyone feed me the ball. And that's not what Ted has ever done. It's all about making everyone play as a unit.
Yeah. Sometimes you buy a star player and they take over everything, or like they become the focus of the team. Team gets built around them. It disrupts other players. It stops other players playing well. You see it all the time. You'll see like a striker who's scoring like 1 minute scoring for fun, and the club will bring in like a strike partner for them, and they won't click, they won't work together, and all of a sudden that one striker who was scoring like crazy is giving up opportunities for this other player who's just joined to try and fit in to get them scoring, and neither of them are scoring, and it happens all the time. It was
2 episodes ago where Zava was like, Jamie, you feed the ball to me. Like, it is that thing of like, but Jamie could have scored from that position. Well, could possibly have scored from that position. I get it, but I'd never thought about it. Is that the fact that if Zava wasn't there, they probably would have been doing better.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they did go on that streak of like, he's there. How are they not winning?
That might have been the other teams being shell shocked of like, oh, Zava, like, you know what I mean? This is like international avocado phenomenon. Zava is here, and you lose your shit a bit. That's why I don't talk to famous people when I meet them, because my brain shuts down.
Look at Jamie as well. As soon as Zava comes in, Jamie starts underperforming because he's no longer the star player.
Golden boy.
It's true.
But again, Roy sees it. This is what we've said. Roy sees it. It's like, you can be better than him. Yeah. And that's, again, just one moment in this episode that is very, very, very touching. And it's a split second glance. And it's just like, it's good. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. And they wrap this bit up with the Ted not knowing what to say. So he's comparing the team to a ship, and we're going to turn around, point the baby at the North Star.
This is just good Ted Lasso nonsense. This, it's that way, and then Rebecca's like, "No, it's this way." And then like Higgins is like, "Actually, it's that way." Right, now it's fucking. And then Beard is like, Beard goes, it's that way, I think.
Yeah, you're all wrong. Yeah. You notice that Trent's in his office and he's not said a word, but he's following the conversation. Whereas before, maybe you wouldn't want to, Rebecca storming into Ted's office and being upset is something that would have gone in the paper before if Trent had been within earshot.
He's just there to make notes and write a history. I also like when Rebecca storms in and starts yelling, Beard just pulls his hat down and pretends to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Rebecca, this is what I wanted to get to because I like this guy. She's in a cafe finishing up a meal. This is really good. The green matchbook that we keep coming back to in previous episodes is in her hand.
From Sam's restaurant.
Yes, it falls out of her purse. She tries to get it to the server to take it back. And then we see out of the blue, John Wings Night. It's Wings Night here on Thursday at the restaurant. Night. He's with Jessica Darling.
Sunday.
Yes, Jessica Darling, which is a great name, by the way.
Well. Jessica Darling, only because they can go Jessica Darling, and it's such a it's such a lame setup. But I was like, I admire the commitment to the bit. Yeah,
he's such a knobhead, though, isn't he?
Right, Jay, he's wearing a split scarf. Those are for wankers.
Oh, I have notes. I have notes about that, and it literally says
that was my one sports question to ask you.
It literally says, and I quote, half and half scarves are for wankers.
Yes, I was right.
It's one of those things. You see people who aren't really, and also he said he's a Richmond fan. He's got a United and a City scarf on.
He does.
It's he's not even a fucking Richmond fan anymore. Generally you see people who get so whenever you go to a football match, you'll have all the kind of grifters outside who are just selling shite. Just for it's generally just a tourism trap. And it's always a scarf. They'll have the actual club scarves, and then they'll have a half and half one with the two teams that you're going to watch today. And generally it's if you get a half and half scarf, you're not really a football fan because you just getting it to commemorate you going for that one occasion, not actually supporting your team.
My collection of half and half scarves.
I thought there was a viable business plan there. But yeah, you generally see guys like that who literally just kind of go for the experience.
The winning team.
Yeah.
But I was I didn't check the board, and I should have possibly gone back and checked the league table to see who was winning. Because I'm assuming was it City? So there you 100%. Go then. I'm assuming he's gone and watched a City match. And got a City versus United match, and he's wearing that around London, not wishing they get beat up.
That in itself is a joke as well. Because there's the whole joke that no Manchester United fans live in Manchester. They're all from London.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Don't tell Ellis I said that.
I was going to say he does, and he pays through the nose for his season ticket, but yeah.
Please don't tell Ellis I said that. I won't hear the end of it. But yeah, there's the whole joke that all Manchester United fans are from London. And him going up to Manchester to see Manchester versus Manchester, but he's from London. It's quite a little funny little thing.
I don't know much, but I got these bits. I have half and half scarves. Menace's territory, yeah. But this bit where she's trying to leave, and he says to her, "Oh, the same coffee shop that you dumped me in, and I haven't been coming back in here just on the off chance of meeting you." And I was like, "Oh my god, he's been in there every day."
Because I met Jessica Darling on that app, not banter, because that would be awkward.
He's so still into her, and she's next to him.
He says, "I went fishing and caught myself a soulmate." I like that.
No, she's proper into him, and he's rebounding hard into her. 6 months, is it? And they're engaged.
I kind of feel like this is Rupert and Bex if Rupert wasn't as devious and evil, just kind of a dick. You know what I mean?
I think he's infatuated with Rebecca.
Oh yeah,
chance, and now he's just But he's like, let's go to this coffee shop again. We always going there. Let's go somewhere else. Oh no, like, just hoping to run, just so he can go. I've moved on while not moving on.
Yeah, you realize
that's his victory lap.
You realize that when he was on here, every story he had included him telling somebody off or fighting somebody. Oh, and it's the same thing here.
Yeah, he got into a fight with Anthony
Hopkins.
I grabbed that rapscallion by the collar.
And I said no, and I said, well, that's what you get for being famous.
And then I sent it to your dad's nurse?
Your dad's
like a
nurse,
story.
Made his day.
Brilliant. But like, he is essentially like Teddy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, isn't it? He's just like, he's still infatuated with Rebecca.
Yeah.
But it's jazz brunch. This is jazz brunch.
Yeah.
But we get the bit of this, which is the crux of this scene. She's trying to throw away the green matchbook, and then Jessica Darling says, "Oh, he came along like my shite in nining armor," and I was like, "Oh God, it's been so long since I've watched this." And Rebecca freezes.
It's what the medium said, isn't it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "You said what?" And she reiterates it like 4 or 5 times to her. And she's like, "Oh no, it's just my brain farts," which I hate as a word.
I like his line. He says, quite rare for her. She's actually very smart. Went to Oxford for a bit.
For a bit?
Just trails off.
I've stayed in Oxford for like a week before. But like, again, it's that thing of like, I'm doing well for myself now. Please take me back.
He's literally one of those people who like you've met in like a fleeting moment you just keep bumping into. Who just like they're trying to like explain how well the life's going when really the life's terrible and they hate everything about it.
But they're always better than you. Like,
yeah. They've always got a story to tell to someone I work with who's like that, and it's just like, oh, please just stop.
I like when they're walking off. You can barely hear him say, "Are you okay? Have you eaten?"
He puts his arm around it and kind of barrels her off as well. Like, yeah. It's a tremendous scene, but yeah, the shite in nining armor. So that's 2 of the 4 things true that the psychic predicted. We had the green matchbook, and we've had the shite in nining armor.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember.
And Rebecca now is shook by this.
Oh yeah.
And again, this like again as a kind of now episode, Waddingham is so good in this.
She's brilliant in it.
Especially later on. I genuinely had tears in my eyes at one point.
Yeah.
And it's a nothing scene. Nothing happens in it, but it's just alone. And that's what she never wanted to be. Anyway. Sorry.
She's in the new Fall Guy flick, by the way, with Ryan Gosling. Did you know that?
I'll wait till it's on Sky.
Oh, don't watch it. It's terrible. Horrible movie.
I've heard it was very fun. If you just
stop. Don't believe it. Don't believe it.
I saw the trailer and thought this looks fucking dog shit.
If you're gonna trust a Yank, I'm the Yank you trust. I won't steer you wrong.
I trust you, Tom, because
2/3
they went. It's okay. I'm a stuntman like 9 times in the trailer, and I was like,
2/3 of the way in, I'm like, I can't believe how fucking bad this movie is. Like, I cannot believe. Because Ryan Gosling is the man. He's wonderful. And this movie is horrible. Like, woo. Yeah, it's bad. But she's in it.
Good. I mean, when the trailer's just like shouting things that are happening in the film.
The trailer is just them shouting, "It's okay, he's the stuntman." Like, it says it about 5 times in the trailer. I was like, I know what the Fall Guy is. I'm old enough to know what the Fall Guy was. Like, I mean, do it once. All right, I know he's a stuntman. You don't have to press that into my brain.
I grew up watching that show. One of the many shows I grew up watching.
So, it's a fun show. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. We go to Keeley's office, and this is the first of 2 missed calls from Rebecca, which is a sign of...
I love Rebecca's her phone screen as well. Yeah. Rebecca just doing a dumb face. Like, it's
great.
Because they're best mates.
Keeley has Barbara and Jack in her office, and Keeley's wearing a lovely black dress.
I would say this is one of the most Elvira-style dresses that Keeley's ever worn.
I'm not saying anything. It's lovely.
Again, I don't want to objectify women, but
No.
my God, she looks good in this. Yeah.
Women should wear what they want. It's 2024.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, she's talking to Barbara and Jackson there, and Barbara is fawning over Jack. Barbara has a thing for powerful women. What is it about powerful women?
I don't know. I want to know what's in her top drawer though.
Yeah, same.
But it's that thing.
I bet it's a knife.
Attached
to evidence.
Or like some kind of medieval weapon.
Like a mace.
Yeah.
Like a flail.
It's a ring of obviously dungeon keys. It's obvious. What would this go to? Yeah.
No, it'd be a snow globe on the end of a chain. Yeah. But I know. I love this Barbara because like Katie Wicks does it so well. She does it in Staff Let's Flats as well, of being like very fawning over the person in charge and trying to dob the other person in without doing it deliberately, but so obviously doing it as well. And Katie Wicks does it beautifully.
I love Katie Wicks. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's such a good actress.
Yeah,
she's
really
like,
good.
well, we should take on more clients, and then Keeley said, no, we shouldn't. And then Jack just goes, well, yeah, she's right. And I thought she was right. And it's just like, it's like old Higgins, like of just being the yes man.
Mm-hmm.
But
she's
like
obviously deflated.
Yeah, she's like
but there's a split second crack in the face where she just goes, and then she's back into it. Like, and
yeah,
you just got to reset the router. Like, it's
reset the router. Ooh, I like that. As she goes out, Jack's like, don't worry, Barbara, it'll be great. She goes, oh, yeah, yes, definitely. Just real straight face. I like Jack's line. She's got a couple good lines in this one. She says, you ever think Sunshine gets jealous of her?
I swear to God, that is brilliant.
I was laughing my ass off when she said that. Oh, God.
But again, it's this thing of like her and Keeley after like the bathroom incident and stuff, and her going, "Oh my God, it was you!" Like she's like, "Oh, she's just a normal person who like genuinely cares about a job and I think can do well."
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Jack's there. I think is because like she's gone. I kind of want to get to know this person and see how they work and that. Because why would otherwise she be there?
It's true.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of time's passed since that game, hasn't it?
Yeah, a month at least.
Yeah, at least. Well, a month since the last episode for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
I said if we went back and looked at the table that's flashed up, there'd be games played, so we'd be able to work out roughly where we were. But who can be bothered?
Well, unfortunately, Shandy comes in next.
I swear to God, I'm back on the Shandy train. I'm sorry, like
what?
Because she's just so oblivious to everything that she's done wrong. Like from her giving that information to Keeley at the was it vodka or whatever it was that shoot that they did to here, she has proved that she may have been like on the ball there, but she's got complacent. She's got comfortable and then complacent. And it's what was it? I'm launching my own starting my own app. Was it Starfuckers?
Starfuckers.
And I was like, Trent Reznor's going to sue you for one thing.
Oh, he definitely will.
Yeah.
It's actually it's better and cooler and actually cares about helping people have sex with celebrities.
Sex with celebrities. I was like what?
It's so.
And she looks Susan Boyle on there, and that's it.
She looks at Jack and says, "And yeah, we're looking
for investors." Tips her a wink, and I'm like, I love Shandy because she's so clueless. She's like, she thinks she's doing great, and I'm like, oh, you haven't moved on. Keeley has moved on. Keeley has learned and seen what the real outside world is like, and you haven't. And it's adorable. It's so good.
She's kind of a cartoon character at this point.
At this point, yeah, she especially her leaving speech is, yeah.
Oh my God.
But
yeah, we'll get there. But she, after she walks out, Jack and Keeley are talking, and Jack basically coaches Keeley on what to say when she has to fire her. And Keeley thinks she's firing her in that moment.
It's very good the way she does it, though. She also, when Shani comes in, now you finished your cool girls meeting. I was like, Barbara was in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I would buy Barbara so many snow globes.
She says, she does the thing, and she says, it's called a compliment sandwich. You know, you give someone bad news, soften the blow, you slap between two delicious slices of compliments. And she goes, well, I can't fire Shandy. She'll hate me. And she really thinks she's killing it. And she says, well, I'm sure she does. The worst people often think they're the best. My dad calls it talent dysmorphia.
Talent dysmorphia. Yeah.
Wonderful.
My God. If someone put a filter for that on Twitter.
Right.
Oh,
we're back in the AFC locker room. Isaac sees Nate and Anastassia on his phone and is baffled at how they're together. And what follows is a signature Ted Lasso rom-com conversation, except Ted's not involved at all. This is just part of the show's charm from day one.
I take it back as well. In the previous episode, I thought Anastassia might have been a sex worker. It turns out that she is a model.
A supermodel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Superb owl. Yeah, but this thing about, like, why is she with Nate? Or maybe it's like a she's all that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so good.
Brilliant.
It's like,
right.
And like, it's based on My Fair Lady. Actually, I think it's based on Pygmalion. And then Danny's just like,
Danny.
I like pigs.
They're cute, but also have the same intelligence as a human toddler.
Danny just waiting to jump in with his one fact that he knew.
He is. And then Isaac's like, yeah, but Anastassia's just really fit, isn't it? They all agree with this.
Yeah. She's not.
Nah, not really.
Very superficial.
Yeah. And Van Damme throws, I'm calling it Van Damme from now on, because that's who he wants to be called.
Van Damme until he becomes...
So he says, hey, Zava, what do you think of Anastassia? And he goes, I don't. My wife, Christina, is the only woman I see with clarity. And Jamie's like, oh, my God. Just completely over it. So
Jamie
good.
does like 3 distinctly different eye rolls in this episode, and they're all different and all equally brilliant.
Really good.
It's
really good. He says, every other woman is a smudge. My wife is sexy, but in the girl next door kind of way. Glasses, ponytail. She paints. Danny is like the girl, and she's all that. Like what? And then Jamie goes, it's a movie, because it's Jamie and he's wonderful. Zava goes, I don't care about moving pictures. My favorite thing to watch is my wife. What the hell are we talking about? Let's take a moment. I put this in the notes. Maximilian Osinski, who is Zava, can we talk about his leg muscles? Did you guys notice? Like,
he's got legs like a horse's.
Dude, when he stood up, I'm like,
notice that. Sorry, no, I didn't. But I did know he went. It's as defined as my brain or my very defined abs. And like Zorro goes, looks around and just goes, just wide eyes at him. I missed that. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that. Sorry.
And also, my second note on here is Kola Bikini, who plays Isaac, is looking a lot more toned and looks like he's lost weight by this point in the actual filming of the show. He looks really good.
He looks jacked by the end of the episode.
He does. By the end, that bit where they're in the training room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he looks hench as heck. Yeah.
On the. Oh God.
No, I was gonna say, I don't know whether that's intentional or because he's now captain and he's got to set an example, or whether he just went, I'm going to get ripped while I'm filming this. I've got free access to a gym and all this stuff. Why not?
I'm exercising all the time.
Yeah. I'm gonna be able to not go upstairs without puffing and panting like I do. Yeah.
That's a lovely segue for a little Zlatan fact.
Oh, yes! Let's hear it. Yes.
It's been a long time.
That has Zlatan has a French burger named after him. When he moved to Paris, there's a cafe called Doddy's Cafe.
I don't want to go to Daddy's Cafe.
No, in the Parisian suburb of Boulogne and Billancourt. They named the burger Le Zlatan. It's a gigantic 600-gram burger, which also has cheddar, Emmental, and blue cheese, as well as bacon and onions.
What's
That's a big
500
burger.
gram in pounds and ounces?
600.
Yeah. 600. What is it?
600. I think that's.
I think it's about a half pound.
That's about a half pounder. Yeah, it's a big burger.
It is a pound and a third.
A pound and a half. Oh, yeah,
pound and a half of meat.
Yeah.
Pound 1.32. Yeah, it's close. Jeez.
What kind of bread's it served on? Do we know?
It's French, so it'll probably be a brioche bun, I imagine. Sorry, mate.
In the bin.
It just says a giant bun, so I think they must make them themselves, the buns.
If it's only one burger, yeah, it
does look like a brioche bun on the picture.
You had me
on brioche buns. I don't know who
you had me at blue cheese.
Yeah,
and Emmental.
Yeah, Emmental's underrated.
And again, if it's wide as opposed to tall, that's what I'm all about. I hate tall burgers. How are you supposed to eat that?
I'm just about to send you guys a picture of the burger. It's quite wide.
Oh, see, you get it between two of you, three of you, split it. We'll do it. We'll do the Ted Two Nations under Ted tour.
You know what
the European tour.
If the burger is tall,
I could probably. Is it the one on the left? I could mash that on my own.
I think it's both of them.
Yeah.
What? It's not even one burger. It's the burger and an orbital burger.
Oh no,
that burger and a slider.
No,
isn't it?
No, never mind. I was looking at that wrong.
I want one mega burger.
The other one is the
scale. The banana for scale.
Is for scale, yeah. So the one on the left is the Zlatan burger.
I could probably demolish that on my own on an easy day.
I think I could if I'm having a big if I've got holiday eating, I'd eat that.
All right, holiday eating is different from regular eating, isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
Oh, of course, it doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Nah.
Yeah,
right, definitely. So that's the first. So we're going to go stay in the above of the pub. Then we're going to go to Paris and have a burger.
Also,
we can do all this in a day. Eurostar.
At the time, we could. At the time of writing this, which was 2017 when this article was written, only 7 people had ate the whole burger.
Oh, but they're French. They're probably nibbling on it and going on about. Yeah, like probably trying to mime eating a burger. I'm sorry, the French people. I love French.
To be honest, I think the blue cheese would make it a hard burger to eat.
Yeah, it depends how much they put on. If it was a little sprinkling, if they dose it on, then yeah.
That would make it so acidic.
I swear to God, Tom, we've done what you always hated. We've hijacked it with food talk.
Dude, we do it all the time.
Yeah. I know.
By the way,
normally before record though.
Yeah, right. I'll segue it back. The best blue cheese, the worse of a face I make, the better the blue cheese is. Do you know what I mean? If it makes you pucker, that's some good blue cheese.
This is Auvergne blue cheese, which is some of the good stuff.
Ooh,
yeah,
love it.
You got onions and you got
love it. So somehow we'll try to get back to this show after that.
I'm gonna get that burger off my phone screen because I'm hungry.
I was gonna say I'm gonna just order some food to be delivered in a bit, so we got to wrap it up.
I think the last episode we should all be eating as the show's happening. Like all three of us have something.
Packet of jammy Dodgers.
I think we definitely at some point need to try and do an episode where we go and get fish and chips in the Greyhound.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream.
That's what we need. We need to do the Ted and Beard meal in the Greyhound.
That'd be wonderful.
I'll just be playing the pinball machine in the background. Yeah.
So back in Ted's office, they're talking strategy for the Man City game. Roy's like, if we stay with our, I don't have the numbers,
4-4-2.
whatever the formation is, we're fucked.
If we go to 5-3-2, we're not fucked.
But if we try a 5-3-2, Ted's like, we're going to win. We're fucked.
were fucked.
Yeah.
They got out in their locker, and it's all because they put all their eggs in the Zlatan basket.
Mm-hmm.
Beard says, Man City. I can't believe our white whale has the same name as the strip club where I danced in college.
That's a wonderful joke.
But
Great
again, these little bits of Beard information that you think are throwaway jokes.
Oh, there's a wonderful callback with Beard later on in the episode.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm on about. And
Yeah.
When it happened, I just went, "Oh my god!"
All these little bits that, again, all the way through the whole 3 seasons, I thought were throwaway jokes by Beard. Yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, he's a very interesting boy.
He is. Trent makes a sound at this, and Ted hears him and goes, "What's going on? You got an idea for us?" Like, "No, I can't. I'm only here to observe. I couldn't interfere." And he's like, "I get it. You're the kind of one of them sadistic nature documentarians that won't put down their camera even when they see a poor, defenseless, adorable little injured monkey about to get attacked by a pack of hyenas. Then he has to do the injured monkey. Beard does it. And Roy's just doing this."
Roy eventually goes,
he starts beating his chest.
He's doing the gorilla beating his chest.
Even in like defeat, he has to do.
I feel like this is Roy's like first whole thing of like getting on board with the Diamond Dogs, though.
Yeah, I'd take that. And this is one of those bits where it could either fall or work hugely the longer it goes, because like it kept going and then it just got funnier by the end of it. So I was here for it. Trent says, "All right, okay, fine. Have you ever considered an old school long ball game?" And Roy's like, "Oh, what, like route 1? He says, "Yeah, a kick and rush tactic that can be a viable option for a Beard overmatched or for an overmatched team against a superior opponent is what Beard says." Ted's like, "Well, great, let's do that then." Beard says, "Nah, their center backs are too athletic." Roy says, "They'd murder us." Trent goes, "Yeah, you're fucked." So, Jay, what is this? What are they talking about?
Trent's a smart man because that works against City. So route 1 is basically like the defender or the goalkeeper will play. Ball. Yeah, will play a long ball up the field, and all the bigger and taller players in the team will try and win it in the air to get an advantage. Or it's basically just charging.
I don't know much, but I believe that was Bolton Wanderers tactics from about 1998 to See?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It's very much English style of play.
But it normally ends with a lot of people just heading the ball to each other for about 20 minutes.
It's what a lot of like it's what a lot of like sort of mid-table teams sort of play, where they know they're not going to be able to get like a result unless they're frustrating like a better team. As Trent says, that's pretty much the idea of it. It's just if you stop all these technical players who can control a game from being able to do that, and you just rely on the pretty much pinball in the air, then it kind of evens the playing field a little bit. It's not a very fun style of football to watch, but
no, I went and watched a match.
It's effective.
It was about 15 minutes before the ball touched the floor, and I was like, I thought this was called football.
Yeah,
but I was on my own because there was nobody else in the stands near me.
Yeah, so it's with Beard saying about the centre backs being too athletic. That kind of also ties in, because obviously, if they can jump higher and if they are just generally more like better athletes than like whoever's going to be getting on the end of it.
I was going to who are centre back? Well,
it's Isaac.
Forward, it should be Isaac, Zlatan. Zava, Jamie.
It'd be Zava, Jamie, Danny, and maybe
who's on the
Sam.
other wing? Sam's on the other wing, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd realistically want Isaac to be going forward and trying to get on the end of it as well with the strikers, but then obviously that would then leave them exposed on the back if City win the ball.
Man. Sorry.
It's
he genuinely got into it. I look at it like Warhammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Hail Mary pass in football, or like the Wildcat offense, or something like that.
It's very
just do
much
a
like the
flying
Hail
V.
Mary, but for the whole game. They should just do a flying V. More football teams should do flying V.
I don't know why they don't. It worked for the Mighty Ducks. You get one goal out of it.
Sure
A winning
did.
goal. Yeah.
I wish
normally
Georgia had
because
done
then you have
one
to go and do
against
the triple
Portugal
V.
last night. That would have made me happy.
I don't know. I watched the entire football match of the day, and I was the most bored I've ever been.
Oh wow!
Which one was it? Was it England?
Yeah, boy.
Well, that's your first problem. You're watching England play football. Jesus Christ, Joe.
I was texting you
God.
going, like, has a referee ever kicked the ball into the goal? Because I was so bored. I wanted something to happen.
Yeah, that was one of the worst games of football I've
You know
ever
that
seen.
bit in The Simpsons where they're like, Miguel to Madrid, and it's like just passing in triangles. But no one gained any. It's like World War One. No one gained any ground.
Oh, that's England, mate. It's an awful
very
an awful team to watch. Who somehow.
But then afterwards, I took the dog out and came
runs.
back, and him with the magic chin was going, I think we played well. We just need to work out how to score goals. And I was like, that's fucking day one of.
Isn't that every team?
Football
Yeah.
school. Like
the thing that don't get me started on him. I hate him so much. I'd fight Gareth
rubbed
Southgate.
your magic chin, son. We'd have got some score point goals. Anyway, sorry. This is getting well away.
He's a foolish man.
He's got a handsome chin, but I could put that in a hot dog bun and munch on it.
I'm just gonna support Georgia because they're the underdogs and they're playing very well.
And their flag's kind of like ours.
And the manager's just a big French guy called Willie who's hard as fucking nails.
He's just called Willie, one name, like Cher.
Well, Willie Sagnol.
I'm going to just call him Big Willie now.
That's what they called him, Big Willie, because he's a massive French guy called Willie.
Yeah, okay, sweet. I'm into that. Georgia, when are they playing? They're my team. I'm going to put some money on them.
I mean, it's the 20-year anniversary of Greece surprising everybody, so it's a worthwhile bet.
Can we get back to doing this?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you guys want to.
I am loving this. No, I do, but
So Ted's phone goes off, and this is one of the plot lines of this episode. Michelle's telling him that Henry is getting bullied at school. Did you guys notice the last text that he had sent her? Apparently, Henry had asked for Zava's autograph. So Ted's message to her was that he actually had Beard sign it because he's scared of Zava. And then he followed it up with a just kidding after that.
Yeah.
That was really good. Beard says, very straight-faced, if we leave right now and take the connecting flight through Paris, we can be in Kansas by noon, and that punk's house will be in ashes by noon, right?
It's interesting because we need to talk about Henry bullying. She doesn't say he's the bully, but she doesn't say he's getting bullied either. She just says bullying.
I've had a phone call from school. Henry's been involved in bullying or bullying incident or something. And Ted immediately thinks, well, obviously, my son is shite. Not his son, the actor.
I mean, listen, mate, little hair.
The bit at the end, like the bit where they're trying to do the heartfelt bit at the end of this, I was like, I hate you so much.
I've got a newfound appreciation for him after you making me watch Little Hercules. So
to be fair, he is like Anthony Hopkins, and I want to grip him and make him be in a thing for my.
He says,
"No." But Beard's response is immediate and violent.
Yeah.
Well, we thought it was violent.
It reveals a lot about Beard, though, doesn't it?
It does.
No, it's also just how much he loves Ted and Ted's family as well. Like
it's his fierce loyalty to Ted, though, isn't it?
Whatever. Like we've got City at the weekend. I don't give a shit. We can be there tomorrow, technically, because we fly back. Like,
but Roy's takes the cake. He's like, best thing you do with bullies is ignore them. Then you sneak into their house at 4 a.m., which statistically speaking is the hour people are least prepared to defend themselves. And then Beard goes, correct, as if he knew that.
So what's interesting about that is that's when Roy gets Jamie to start training.
Yep.
Is it 4 a.m.?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When people are most... Yeah, I got that.
At his most vulnerable.
I missed it. Wonderful.
And then I was just doing the bit underneath it where when Roy starts doing this bit, the music goes.
Yep.
Like
It starts
like
swelling.
like a Netflix crime drama. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And once you're standing over them as they sleep in their bed, you start to beat them with a thick, heavy rope soaked in red paint, pummel them over and over until they wake, confusing the paint for their own blood. When they beg you to stop, you laugh as loud as you can for as long as you can. And then you start to beat them again. And then Trent drops his coffee mug.
At this point, but it's just the way he does it. It's just like, oh shit, Roy's done this to someone.
Roy's done this. Yeah.
Not once, several times. He's done it a couple of times with a rope, but he's thought paint is where it's at.
Yeah.
He's thought about it a lot. He's put a lot of thought into this. But I love the fact that even though like Trent and Roy are like sort of tight now, Trent's still like terrified of Roy deep down.
Mate, I'd be terrified of Roy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't order a starter if I went for a meal with him.
Ted says,
you're delaying the steak.
I just don't want to be around him any longer than I need to be.
Ted says, I may just hold off anything like that until I connect with Michelle and get the details. But thank you. Roy says, pleasure. As if he just gave him some valuable advice.
That's Roy's advice for everything, just violence.
So,
Goldstein's performance there is tremendous. I would put that up against like the horror in like Apocalypse Now and stuff, because it's just I don't know whether it's a riff on it or whatever, because just the music's well behind it, and they give it so much time. It's just it's really, and I forgot. I've only watched season 3. This is the second time of me watching it, and I forgot that it was in there, and I just it was just a really mad bit in an otherwise sensible episode.
An otherwise sensible. Yeah, you're right. The next scene is the second thing for me that's never happened that I'm like you. I've only watched season 3 once. This really threw me for a loop, and not the Nate turn as much threw me for a loop initially at the end of last season, but like this threw me for a loop personally, because Higgins comes in and basically stutters and stammers for 90 seconds, but is basically suggesting the time might be right to let go of Ted. And I'm like,
Higgins's bit here is tremendous, because he's dressed in. You notice that Higgins, I'd never noticed before, but Higgins has always kind of put like a slightly flashier tie on. And here he's very grey and monotone, humbling himself before Rebecca. And he's like, he stands at the door and knocks. Can I talk to you? Yes, Leslie, come in.
mm-hmm.
Can I sit down? Why are you being so weird, Leslie? It's freaking me out. Like, Rebecca's fine with Leslie after all of the Rupert stuff. Like, he's paid his dues.
I think it's him making himself be more serious about this position. As we've said multiple times, Higgins is the beating heart of this club. He is the life and soul of this club, and he'll do whatever it takes for the club to succeed. And him having that realization that maybe Ted ain't that guy anymore, that is going to lead them forward into like the breach, so to speak. That's why he's so serious. He's so solemn.
I do hope you've got his little speech, Tom, because it is one of the best double negative para speaks ever, where he's like, I don't want to say, but never not that ever we should maybe possibly consider thinking, maybe not about, but also like it's just
you almost
so
got it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
It's that thing where like you see it a lot in football where on paper a team are tremendous and you're thinking, why the hell aren't they performing like they should? And eventually it's got to be the manager. And this is where they've had that kind of like realization moment that maybe in reality, us as the viewer, we know it's Zava. Well, we've said since Zava joined, he's a cat amongst the pigeons. He's disrupting the harmony of what Ted's built. Ted didn't want him because even though he knows he's amazing, they didn't need him because they've got a good team.
They've just killed Jamie's ego, and now they've got to kill an ego of the gods. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And I think they're thinking, well, if Ted can't manage this team, with this team's amazing, why is Ted here? But at the same time,
again, but that feeds back to my thing of it's not the manager's fault. It's the fact that you've jacked a player into a team that were very successful.
Yeah.
To try and make them more successful. It hasn't worked. What is the one foreign object in this situation?
Mm-hmm. But as soon as Higgins suggests it to Rebecca, Rebecca's instantly like, "Oh, let's not talk about that. That's too serious."
I give myself the authority to not talk about this anymore, and I was like, "Yes, you get it, girl." Yeah, it was beautiful.
Well, I think the thing is, like, obviously losing to City would be their 8th loss on the bounce.
On the bounce,
which is
it's not happened yet, has it?
No, it hasn't yet.
No, so it's the 7 on the bounce.
Higgins says if they lose to City, maybe they need to think about sacking Ted, which is ludicrous, because especially Man City, because if they're top of the table, it's like, come on now.
Yeah, no one's beating them. You know,
and also, as I say, it's more ludicrous, but it is one of those things that unfortunately, it's just the state the football's in these days, in the sense that they're 9th and they'd largely be looked at as overachieving as being 9th at that point in the season, coming from being promoted the previous season. Them being in 9th place is like a massive overachievement, and they're doing very well despite going on a 7 to 8 match losing spree.
9th out of what, 15, 20? What are we talking about?
20. So they're bang in the middle of the table, like they're
right where you want to be.
They're pretty much in a safe position. Like I think looking at the points total, they said 24.
I had 24. I had when I clocked it.
So generally, if you want to, like, it doesn't guarantee your safety, but the number of points they say is sort of the safe spot is like 40 points. So,
and we've still half a season to play.
And we're halfway through the season.
And there's obviously 4 people doing shite at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. So for them to basically be like where they are, like they shouldn't be thinking of sacking Ted at all, because he's actually doing really well, remarkably well, you could say, considering.
Again, all the talk of like the parachute payments and stuff, like you need to stay in the Premiership to get money to buy other players. Again, all the thing of like Zava went there, we don't know how much Zava got paid, like, because there's no other new players come in, has there? So
you'd assume they've probably paid the signing fee, and they're probably paying them an absolute like small island worth of money.
Well, Rebecca wants to change the subject. She don't want to talk about getting rid of Ted. And she asks, she brings up the psychic thing. Higgins surprisingly believes in it. Well, not surprisingly. Rebecca says, why doesn't that surprise me? I mean, you're so whimsical. And Higgins goes, thank you.
And I was like, God, I've always wanted someone to call me whimsical.
I love Higgins.
Higgins says, my Aunt Deborah has a touch of the shine, a little bit of the inner eye. It's awesome.
I feel a touch of the shine. It's, again. But yeah, she said, what was it? I'll get married and we'll have 5 boys. And now, well, I'm married and I live in a house full of wet toilet seats.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just good.
She tells him about seeing the psychic. Yeah.
When he's talking about like the universe being weird, and he just goes, I mean, fingernails, what are they about?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like,
I mean, he's got a point.
It's great.
Yeah, I don't know. Toenails especially, but yeah.
And psychics, even if some of them are charlatans, they can help us see something in ourselves that we can't quite see ourselves. And that really impresses her. She takes something from that.
No.
So
Rebecca's in a weakened state, and Higgins' bullshit is just getting her.
But it was good. I like the line.
No, it's a shite line. Come
on.
It's a classic Mystery Men. be the attack you wish to see, or the attack hammer will. Yeah, no, it's was it the Sphinx? It's just everything is reversed. That's all it is. It's the classic.
Yeah, is it? Well, yeah, I get the joke. I don't have a good comeback, but I get the joke.
I can't remember any of the goddamn quotes now.
Yeah, no, same. I've got
You must leave the balanced attack until you cannot balance attack hammer. And he's like, why are there melons on my feet? I never actually do that. Yeah.
Did you change the water or did the water change you? That kind of thing. You know what I mean? Where you flip it back. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So we go from that to the office at West Ham where Nate is, and the straight-faced assistant, Miss Cakes, I love that name, played by Rosie Liu. Don't think we ever mentioned her name here. She comes in and says that her friend Anastassia wants him to call her. She's quite surprised she didn't ask her for her number at the club. Nate says he didn't want to appear too forward. He picks up the phone, and you're like, yeah.
He bounced, though, didn't he? Like,
yeah.
He was it Bones and Honey, that horrible club?
Yeah.
They were at last time. He spat his martini out and then just bailed because it's Nate. And
he calls
him again.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of realizing that deep down he's not really cut out for the way sort of West Ham are sort of portrayed as obviously you've got the flashy playboy owner and Rupert's trying to get Nate to live that lifestyle, and Nate isn't really part of that.
Don't get me a copyright strike here.
I was
based on my intonation there, you no struggle.
I thought Joe was just having a mild episode.
Both can be true at the same time.
Consistently.
Yeah. But yeah, he's not cut out for that kind of superficial lifestyle. It's
what he's always wanted, and then he's realised
the more grounded Richmond sort of thing.
He's realised what he's always wanted, but it's what he's never wanted. His office is nowhere near the locker room. Ted's office, bam, right next into it. You can see what's going on. Like he's another cog in the machine. Like he's just
we feel like maybe he's getting confidence because he immediately picks up the phone and calls, and you're like, he's calling this girl. He's calling his mom,
Anastassia.
Yeah,
the allegedly deposed Russian Viscountess from the storming of the Winter Palace.
Sure,
maybe.
It's not possible.
These are Russian history, people.
Who knows for sure?
Well, it's his mom he's calling. He's practicing on her.
I know. That was a good bait and switch.
What?
Yeah.
So
I was like, no way Nate's got enough confidence to phone a supermodel.
Yeah.
It's this man.
Well, that's a good little moment. But we go from that to Ted and Rebecca passing each other. They're already both weirded out, and they realize they just pass each other without really acknowledging each other that deeply. Yeah. So they come back and talk, and Ted's like, oh, I get it. You were still feeling bad about yelling at me the other day, right? And in that moment, I thought, I wouldn't feel bad. Like, I'm the manager. I'm the owner. I need you to win. Where's your comeback? Tell me your plan. Like, but he says, yeah.
He needed to be told he was doing a bad job.
Yeah.
Kind of, improve, but also realize that he's doing a bad job because he doesn't really want to be there.
Right, exactly, yeah. But then he says, I can be a little bit psychic, and that completely freaks her out.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, I think he says, I'm a little bit psychic, and then he says, I guess that's why you were coming down to apologise for yelling at me. Is it not? Because then that sets Rebecca off the other way, because, again, she's in a susceptible state, because that's how psychics get you.
She says I shouldn't have bullied you, and that freaked him out.
Yes, it's a good play, and then there's just that shot of them both just going, "Okay, bye," and walking away. Which, again, anyone who said, "Oh, Ted and Rebecca should up together," is an idiot and hasn't watched the show.
Oh yeah, for sure. We go back to Keeley's office, and Shandy is actually sketching the logo for the Starfucker app.
On work time.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't do that.
Also,
Can't do
it
that.
looks terrible.
It looks terrible. It's crayons. He's got crayons or something. I don't know what she's got.
It was a highlighter for sure.
I think it was a Sharpie and a highlighter, which is knackering that highlighter up as well, so no one else can use it. Dan later on can't use it. I love Dan. Yeah.
Oh,
Dan's my new favorite guy.
Barbara comes in. She goes, and Barbara is a complete douchebag here because she's completely messing with her.
How?
In her tone. No. In her tone. She's a smartass. How about that? In her tone.
Oh, okay. Yeah. She's being she's being
facetious.
Yeah. A quick question. Did you tell Shandy to call Emma J at 4 a.m. whilst drunk on an espresso martinis to pitch her an idea for condoms for balls?
On takes notes, espresso martinis to talk about. Takes notes, condoms for balls. And I was
by the way, 4 a.m. again. That's the third reference to 4 a.m.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. And Keeley's like,
didn't catch
of course I didn't do that. Of course, why? She goes, oh, because she just fired us.
Because
it's awesome.
She designed sunglasses. Why would she need condoms for balls? Why would anyone need condoms for balls?
I couldn't even figure that line out. What does she mean?
Right into the sauce, like Pigsy from in Lord of the Flies.
Is balls slang for something over there that I'm not aware of? What does she mean? Condoms?
I know she means testicles.
I know that, but I'm saying, is there anything else?
No. Just in case.
Oh, she meant condoms. Got it. You know what I thought she meant? A trade, a barter situation.
No. You
see what I'm saying? I know what that meant.
No. I think what Shandy was proposing was a rubber Johnny over your gentleman.
Pouch.
And then you put like a balloon over your potatoes.
Oh man!
And then at that point, why not just spray the whole thing with latex and have done with it? Like,
just keep a pan of paint by the bed and just dip in there, and then you're,
Then red paint and then beat them to death with it.
Yes.
My point is, Shandy is at this point is a menace, but I love her because she's unhinged. She's gone rogue.
Can't stand her.
I just love the fact that she phoned someone up and go, condoms for balls, because I've left myself voice notes like that. Like just stuff. Like Scrabble but smells. Like stuff like that. Like just it might work, but you never do it. I don't ever force on other people. I listen back to them the next morning and go, oh God, I got to stuff huffing paint. Yeah. But then Keeley realizes that she's got to fire it. Like, this has gone on too long. After the banter thing, she should have fired her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was like Dr. Sharon getting drunk and leaving Ted all those messages, and he had to remind her she'd forgotten all about it.
Yeah, she had suffered blunt force trauma to the head, though.
That's fair. Yeah, that's right. She had.
Shandy had voluntarily gone out. I'm annoyed that Barbara didn't go espresso martinis to really twist that knife.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was a missed opportunity. That
I know.
She absolutely calls them espresso. If you want writing
tips, writes to Ted Lasso. I'm here. But
Katie Wicks personally, I expected more from you.
I expect nothing wonderful. More or less.
You're the best. Keep doing Barbara proud.
But she goes, Shandy, can you come in? I can see you in about 30 minutes. I've got to go and meet a man downstairs about.
That happens later.
PA is the no.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Yeah. And she goes, no, right now, please. And she comes in, and Barbara is trying to stay. Shandy shuts the door in her face, and then Barbara behind the glass.
Barbara says
at this point.
Barbara says, "Can I stay and watch it?" And she goes,
"Yeah."
No. And she hovers near the door, and the door shuts. And it's just been because Keeley's made a big point of this self-frosting glass stuff, and we just get this half face of
It's
Barbara.
wonderful. Yeah.
That's literally my favorite scene of this episode is just Barbara's face slowly frosting away.
So good at this episode.
They had her half and half. Like Like as if you can't see this whole half of her body, you know.
No, she's
So
like
good.
a child. Like it's
Yeah.
so good. It's beautiful.
And then Shandy, because she's a friggin' idiot, says, "Am I getting a raise?" And then Keeley starts telling her what's going to happen. And then there's a moment of silence. And then boom, Hurricane Shandy bursts out of the freaking office. And she's trying to do the Jerry Maguire speech and she's butchering it. And
she does the, like, Keeley does what Jack told her. You know, you do the compliment sandwich. But we only hear, like, succeed in my future endeavors. But also, like, Barbara's got a cup to the door at this point. Like, she's so invested in it. And when Shandy bursts out, she doesn't even acknowledge that Barbara's there. Like, it's... and then this whole going away speech, yeah, it's not great, but it's also very funny.
It's terrible. I'll pay you double what you're making here. Who's coming with me? No one says anything. She goes, all right, 3 months holiday every year, a company car, massage table in the office with a licensed masseuse. Who's coming with me? Dan goes, I'll go with you. Not you, Dan.
Not you, Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's like, right. He's fine. And Shane says, Barbara, I know you're with me. Barbara says, I couldn't be less with you.
Could not be less with you, yeah. Which is apparently correct grammatical English.
Oh, Janie says, that's because you're a coward and I fucking hate you. I hate all of you. Then she turns around, starts crying, begging Keeley to let her stay. She says, I love it so much. We're a family. And then Keeley tells her no. And then she goes, oh, you bunch of fast as fucks. She's doing like a whole 7 stages of grief here in one shot.
Yeah. She calls them 10%ers, which I thought was a fun reference to the very short-lived ITV sitcom. Wasn't. It's just a reference to agents. They just operate on 10%. Yeah. But I like the fact that when she's leaving, she tries to pick up her laptop, and Barbara goes, that's ours. You fucking fascist. And then just like, oh.
You're like, Dan, let's go. Dan's like, actually, I'm staying.
Dan doesn't know. I retract. Yeah.
And then Shandy's like, suck my. There you go. Dan says, all right. He just mumbles all right all the time.
Mate, they're office bots, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, they're not involved in all the day-to-days of it. Again, I want to see Dan's day-to-day life. He's probably got a wife at home or a potted plant that he cares a lot about. That's a podcast.
A cat or two. Yeah. Barbara says to Keeley, well, I'm not going to say it. Keeley said, no, but you're going to think it. And she said, yes, often and forever.
So good.
She's so passive aggressive. It's brilliant.
I didn't like the Shandy character. I just didn't care for it. I knew why she was there. I just didn't care for it.
It was just to remind Keeley of where she was from. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not often we get a character on this show, guys, that we're kind of like, you don't serve a purpose. You're not learning a lesson. Like, we don't have time for that. You need to learn a lesson. She didn't learn a lesson at all.
In the
I think she's more there for Keeley to learn that, like, like, because essentially, like, Keeley's tried to mentor her like Rebecca mentored her, but the difference is that Keeley was, Keeley was very open to learning, but also helping Rebecca learn more about herself as well. Whereas Shandy is just seen what Keeley's done, wants to emulate what Keeley's done. And because Keeley's so nice, she's letting Shandy sort of like walk, like take her for a ride a bit. I think that's she serves a purpose in the sense that it's a learning experience for Keeley, but in the grander scheme of things, it does feel like she's just there for like a bit of filler.
I think she also is there as a way of killing Keeley's past life with what happens in a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
She serves a purpose. She is very, very quick and then gone. but
Yeah.
season 3 has a lot of very quick and then gone
Well,
characters.
Also, I suppose as well, like with Jack kind of like mentoring Keeley into, well, not mentoring her, but like, you know, kind of pushing her in the direction of getting rid of Sandy.
I've just noticed now that the 2 times that Rebecca phones Keeley, she's hanging out with Jack as the new mentor.
Yeah,
for sure.
And yeah, with Jack like kind of pushing Keeley in that direction. Excuse me. That's a little bit. Listen, just very, very warm. But with Jack kind of like pushing Keeley in that direction, that's why Shandy's there, because obviously Jack's sort of teaching Keeley, whereas Rebecca is teaching Keeley about being better, like believing in herself. Jack's teaching Keeley about making hard decisions and being more cutthroat. And I think that's the purpose that Shandy does serve.
Yeah.
But she's
I'll give it 100%. That's bang on where it is at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
but she's also awful.
R.I.P. Shandy. I mean, we will see her a little bit before the end, kind of in a way, but
in spirit anyway. Speaking of Rebecca, she's walking into the most posh waiting room I've personally ever seen in my life.
Did you notice that the couple in there were the same couple from the coffee shop before? I don't know whether it's an acting thing or
that's definitely deliberate.
Is it?
I think.
Which couple are we talking about?
The one that she looks at who are looking at the brochures.
I think they were the same ones that were in the coffee shop before. I'm not 100% because I've not had a chance to go back and watch this.
Well, it could be. That makes sense.
Does it make sense? Why does it make sense?
Because it feels like real life. It feels like if you ever went to a store.
People, yeah, I ran into one.
You ever went to a store or something, and then
three times in one day, and it was weird.
To be fair, the episode's called Signs. It would make sense if.
Yeah, nothing's not there for a reason.
If that couple are there in the coffee shop and she's looked over at them, and then
she's realised what she could have had with Gerald Halfscarf.
Yeah, and then she's been in the fertility clinic, and they've also been there. Doesn't make sense in a weird kind of way.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. I'm not 100% sure, but this bit where she's talking, this doctor. If I'm paying a like a Fleet Street clinic, I don't want him talking to me about football. I want him going. I want to go in and then going, these are my arms, take bloods, right? Charge me for half an hour.
I just assume that they had a past. They've known each other for years. She knows a lot of like professionals.
Oh, yeah. This is all on
seems...
Rupert's card, this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He seems like a family doctor, doesn't he?
Yeah. Like a rich family doctor, like all the inbred children have been birthed through him.
Yeah.
He asked her how she's holding up. He asked her how she's holding up, and we all assume that he's talking about the divorce, but he's not. He's just a football fan. He's asking about the team, which is a nice change of pace that their friends are no longer talking about the divorce. That's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, you're a doctor. I don't want to come in and chat shit to you. You know what I mean? I want you to be coming and go, all right, I'm sorry that you've died of glue poisoning. Like,
if it's someone who she's got a rapport with, as Tom says, like, it's nice to see that instead of instantly giving her the sort of pity party about the divorce.
He's got a bow tie on.
Yeah, because he's an knobhead, but
because he's a posh doctor, like Matt Smith.
He's the posh doctor.
That's tickled me that.
So basically, she's there. This is part of her deal, is that, having children at this age. He says, I treat women your age and old.
she's fully bought into now this cosmic belief, psychic thing.
It's true.
Matchbook, shites in knighting armor.
Yep.
She's like, I'm
That's
going to be a
psychic.
mother.
He says, I treat women your age and older all the time. He's going to take some blood, do some imaging, see what can be done. So that's, things will play out as they play out here. We'll see in short order how they play
private
out.
clinic, so that'll be done in about 4 hours. On the NHS,
Oh,
be dead by the time it gets round. Yeah.
Back at the
He's
dog
an
track.
18-year-old lad. Sorry, go on.
Back at the dog track, the guys are working out. It's an Ice Cube song playing in the background. And Isaac's like, right, listen up. When you're leaving, get yourself a shower, get some rest. More importantly, no video games before bedtime. Unless it's Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Because that shit's relaxing.
Yes.
That shit is relaxing.
They all agree on this, of course.
But again,
Sam says,
these locker room bits where...
Yep.
It's just
They're all on the same page. They're all playing along. Sam says, I think we're really...
I'm just doing bits.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Sam says, I think we're really starting to turn our fortunes around. Jan says, well, actually, Sam, and you're like, here comes Jan Moss to give us all the...
but then he just goes, no, Jan.
Colin says, no need. Like,
No
Sam,
need.
we're playing like shit. We all know it. Jamie says, enough of that negativity. I love that.
Oh, right.
I love it.
Bit. Jamie.
He says, yeah.
Being the actual locker room hero. And saying these statements like, doesn't matter. Like, but then
Man City
it
are
turns
great.
out,
Who the fuck cares? Because so are we. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then as it turns out, it doesn't matter. Because Zava was just sitting there with a 20-pound weight on his chest. Like,
I love when he sits up. He's like, "Raw."
he just sits up and he's like, he was in the room all along.
You notice he chucks it with one hand onto the floor like it weighs nothing.
My wife watched it with me and she went, that wasn't a 20-pound weight. Obviously, it wasn't a 20 weight because you've got to throw it to one side, hasn't it? You can't throw a 20-pound weight at a poor,
Zava can.
Yeah, but the actor cannot.
We don't know.
But he could have put it down slightly more realistically. I think it's what
It's wonderful.
But it's brilliant. And then he basically just reiterates what Jamie said, but with more flouncy language. And Jamie just goes, I said this. Like,
I love this.
Eye roll from Jamie.
His second different eye roll, yeah.
Because Zava says, Jamie is so right. It's as if he were Zava. God, you think a lot of yourself right now, buddy.
Oh, mate,
yeah.
I would never ever refer to anyone else in my life as someone who is almost Joe-like, because I wouldn't want to be me. I don't like being me. I don't want anyone else to have to bear this burden. And yet he's so. And I get like Jamie's eye roll, like when he goes, "This is exactly what Jamie said." I just said it, but he says it more flowery, more confusingly, but with more sort of weird. I'll charge you $50 a month to access my courses online.
This was some foreshadowing. This is some foreshadowing here too, because he says, "You will not win because of me. You will win because you'll work together. Because together you can achieve anything. Not we. You can achieve anything." That should have told us something was going to happen later. He'd already decided he wasn't going to come back.
Yeah, but Ted's already said all of this.
Yeah.
Danny yells, Manchester City is going down. They all cheer. And this leads us to Ted back in his flat on FaceTime with Michelle. Wonderful Michelle. Jesus Christ on a cracker.
Team open peanut butter on the shelf.
Yep. It's sitting there. The lid's beside it.
I got really into looking at Ted's background recently.
Yeah, that's fair. Ted asked about how Henry's doing. He's okay. He's actually at the park right now. Yeah, Jake thought it'd be a good idea to get outside and get some fresh air. I'm turning on this character again. How dare you? Like, again, it's your damn therapist. What are you doing? Like,
no.
You could have just left. Couldn't you just left that out? Did you have to say that? No, you didn't have to say that.
He's a predator. He's a predator.
A little bit, yeah. And Ted says, well, that's smart. Ted's stuttering because he's trying to be polite. How are you doing? It's like, oh, I've definitely been better. And he's like, I hear you. I've been pulling my hair out all the day over this. You know, I actually told Beard and Roy about what happened. Those fellas are ready to hop on a flight to Kansas, go full Wicked Witch of the West on the kid that bullied him. And she says, no, Ted, Henry wasn't bullied. He was the bully. Now I'm getting ahead of myself here, but we don't find out what happened, do we? They don't explain what happened.
No, they don't. And I don't understand how you can bully someone in one day. Bullying to me, as a bullied person, because of my face and my haircut that I had as a child, is a long-running thing. You can't bully someone in one day. That's just someone kicking the fuck out of you. That's just like growing up.
Unless it's just he's been caught.
Yeah.
But he's such a weenus.
Yeah, maybe we don't find out because the child actor that is Henry is a bad actor and he couldn't have the emotional depth of a scene like that.
I think he's essentially one of the first Skynet robots they've sent back to act and infiltrate. To make us weak to emotions.
Like the Spielberg film AI, but real.
Oh, is that what it's pronounced? I always called it I. I thought it was Spanish.
Oh, god damn it! That's a bad
Cut that
joke.
out.
That's a terrible joke.
I know it's terrible, but
it's really bad.
No,
fucking dirtbag joke.
Shame.
No, because what we find out there, I don't think it was bullying. I think it was just him picking on someone, and I don't know whether that is how the world works now or whatever. But I think they bull rushed the use of the word bullying to make it seem more important, because it was like Henry's been in a thing at school, he's been in a fight, wouldn't be enough.
I mean,
they had to put the bullying thing in.
I guess if the school have involved him and he's the instigator, then it's bullying, isn't it? Like if the school have called the parents.
To be fair, I once got
Henry's
accused of
the
bullying, and
instigator.
I wasn't. I just said that. What was it? I said your surname sounds a bit like Currents, and I got pulled in primary school. That's
like
bullying.
Currents.
Her surname was Curran, and I just said it sounds like Currents. It does sound like Currents.
It does. I can think of worse things.
It's not bullying. It's just a fact. Anyway, I've let it go.
No, you haven't.
I've got a sniper rifle with Edwina Current.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed we didn't find out what was done, or like not even a shot of a text message on the phone screen of what he actually did. We never got told. I don't recall if we get told later down the road in the season.
No,
maybe we
don't.
do.
We get like a shitey rap apology.
No, I mean like in the show. If in the season, do we get something later on?
No.
I don't think we do. No. No.
So back at Keeley's office. Yeah. So back at Keeley's office, we get a nice bit with Dan, who's telling her he's quitting, but he's only messing around. Unless you want me to quit, he says.
So he comes in, he goes, quitting time.
Yep.
This again, whoever this actor is, I don't know his name. But again, every second he's on screen, he's popping. Like,
he's brilliant. He's so
just
funny.
because he's like, "Oh, are you quitting?" Yeah, I'm quitting as well. I'm following Shandy. No, okay, I'll see you Monday. Okay, it's just such a. That's what office life is like. There's people who just don't get how jokes work or whatever.
Yeah,
but he does it very well. And again, he's dressed in like the Higgins grey as well.
Yeah. He's definitely a worker drone.
Yeah.
But
he's been there since day one. When Shandy left, there was like a new face there that I hadn't seen before, and I don't like that.
Yeah, he well, that bit comes and goes, and then Barbara comes in, and so does Jack, and Keeley asks if either one of them want to go to the game with her. Barbara says, "Will it be as violent as last time?" Keeley says no. So Barbara doesn't want to go. Jack asks if she can use her office to make some calls, and Barbara says yes, but don't look in my desk drawer. They all laugh until Barbara says, don't.
No, don't.
She walks off, and Jack says, I'm definitely going to look in those desk drawers.
I'm going to look in that drawer now. You've made it.
I want to know what's in the drawer. But Barbara's
it's like Alan Partridge's drawer, mate. In the Linton Travel Tavern. Yeah.
But Barbara's almost like a cross of like Higgins and Beard, isn't she?
Ooh.
Oh.
She's got like the sort of like glad hand and yes man part of Higgins, but then she's got the mystery of Beard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's.
I imagine in her top drawer, it's like Mary Poppins' carpet bag, and there's just
she's
a
got the
massive battle
saltiness of
axe
roll.
in there. No, like you can just pull it out of a flat surface.
Oh, I'd love that.
Like a bag of holding.
I'd like to think it's like a cat of nine tails with a snow globe on the end of each one.
Oh, a little mini one.
Yeah.
You get down the docks. Yeah.
This is how we get distracted, is going down the rabbit hole of stuff that never made a difference ever. Yes. We do it all the time.
Sorry.
With your new podcast of discovering the mysteries of TV shows and films.
Don't.
We're literally going into Barbara's backstory and Beard's backstory.
76 hours of Barbara's drawer.
We need to know what's in Barbara's drawer.
Oh my. I'm gonna get us out of this. Don't worry.
A picture of her Japanese husband crying before he got into a World War II. Kamikaze plane. But she's young. How's that happened?
Because it didn't happen. That's how. So
it happened now in my brain.
It's game day. We go to the dog track. Oh, what a performance by Nirvana is playing. And no, not that Nirvana.
Yeah. No,
not that
one.
Nirvana.
But it's a good one.
Yeah. The crowd's chanting Zava. And Roy's in the locker room. He's fist bumping the team.
I love this.
Slice him.
Yeah, this
cut
is
him.
Tremendous.
Mash him. Then he goes to Colin, who's not
Roy's
playing.
Just doing all the way he knows potatoes can be served.
And he says, cheer until your voice bleeds, because Colin's not playing.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Sam. He goes to Sam and says, outclass him, Sam.
Outclass them. Because fucking yes.
That's a really good callback to that first season where, like, obviously Jamie's bullying Sam and Roy's like, just play better than.
Yeah.
Outclass him.
Yeah. No, again, not lost on me, but I just like the fact that for all the people that we don't care about, all the people that are non-entities, he's just yelling potato recipes at them.
Oh, man, you could keep going. I didn't peel them, slice them, cut them, mash them. You could say bake them, broil them, roast them, fry them. Oh, my God, you could go forever on that. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Saute them.
Scallop them.
Do them in a dauphinoise. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Man, I got a difficult relationship with Noki at the moment.
Yes.
You don't need to know, but
probably not. That's a whole other podcast.
Not talking terms. Yeah.
Well, that can be on your new podcast, Tom.
Oh my God.
Joe yells at some food that fucked him over.
Joe yells at food is the title. That's brilliant. Then he suddenly stops. He, meaning Roy, suddenly stops and says, "Where the fuck is Zava?" And that starts the dominoes later falling. In Ted's office.
Also, they're all doing their pre-warm-up shit. No one's noticed Zava's not there. He's not intrinsic to the team.
Yeah, he's never involved. Yeah.
Because he's an outsider. He sits on the outside of the locker room.
He sits in Jamie's old seat.
Well, this is the thing though. Like with Zava like sitting there, Jamie then is kind of forced to sit with everyone else and realize like that's kind of like the last bit of getting Jamie in the team.
Into the team,
part of the team. Not like sitting separate on his own.
That's true. Yeah. So in Ted's office, he's worried about Henry and wonders why there can't be just one big time zone. Beard tells him it's because of the sun, which is a great answer.
And Ted just goes, the sun.
Yeah, the sun. What are you gonna do? Ted, he tells Ted that Henry's going to be just fine because he's a good kid and Ted's his dad. Ted thanks him and says he said, I need to hear it. Beard says, no, you need to hear it. And he says, that's what I said. You did? Is that a bit from something else, or was that just for fun?
Oh, I think it was just their bit.
I guess. I don't know. I thought maybe it meant something else.
I think it was. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I didn't clock it. I thought it was just so he would think about it again.
Roy comes in to tell him about Zava, and then we go from that to Keeley's office.
I got some fucking bad news.
Yeah. She's at her desk. She smells something. Her and Jack go out to the office, and there's the lamb. This is the callback from the episode where Shandy debuted about the lamb, and the handler telling him that the lamb's waste essentially
becomes
smells
the lion.
Horrible. Yeah. Yeah, horrible. Shandy's left the lamb on the table.
This lamb has been left alone, unattended, in a locked office room, which,
a long time,
to my experience, are notoriously sweaty.
They are.
Yeah.
And she let him know.
We don't have aircon in the UK. That'd be a warm room.
She left a note that says.
I also thought that Shandy, again, I forgot after watching this the first time, that Shandy would have just dropped the Todd in a drawer because she seems like that kind of classy person.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
The note says the lion is left. Enjoy the lamb, bitch. My God, you two were best friends. What are you doing? Like,
nah, she was using it as a stepping stool. Like,
well, yeah. Nate and Anastassia show up at the restaurant where Jade works, and Jade.
I swear to fucking God, this is one of the best awkward comedy moments.
I love Jade. She's brilliant.
I hate Jade. Hate the character.
Oh, really?
I do. I hate it.
I love the fact that she put, like, even when Nate's trying to be Billy Big Bollocks, she goes,
and you, madam.
Nonplussed. Yeah. She just doesn't give a shit, and it grounds
She doesn't
Nate.
think that Nate could have this woman on his arm, and she thinks she's a separate person behind him. That is a tremendously good, fun thing.
But she treated him like this before he ever got the job at West Ham.
Because he's always gone in there as Charlie Big Potato. He's always gone in there trying to be
the mirror.
Big
He probably had to clean that fucking mirror. He goes in, he spits everywhere, he talks down to it.
This prick, whenever he comes in, there's always a load of flub on the mirror and no tip.
Her best way of making him realize that, like, he's not above it is just
go on.
I was gonna say her best way of making Nate realize that he's not above it is that just acting like completely disinterested in him.
I don't care who you are. You're another person that comes in and wants to eat.
I guess. I'm okay with that now.
Like I said, Joe, you've worked in like public. What's it called?
Hospitality.
Hospitality, yes.
Yeah,
and you get people like this who will come back and try and prove stuff to you, and I don't give a shit, mate.
I was Jade in the sense that people would try and act like they were fucking bigger than me, and I'd act like they were the littlest person in the room.
I don't care.
Feel like a fucking dickhead.
And then drink, be nice walk away.
Yeah.
I've seen you pump 50 quid into that fruit machine when you got paid and then hid it from your wife. I know all your secrets.
I mean, the spitting and this moment, I'm okay with that. But again, the very first time he ever said hello to her, she was stone-faced, didn't give a shit about him, was cold as ice.
No, right, okay. Have you ever worked hospitality? She works in what appears to be a very mediocre Greek restaurant. Right? Mm-hmm. Apparently, she doesn't look Greek, so she is employed there. She's not family or anything. She's got no investment in that place. It's just another place where she moves on to something that she wants to go and do. Like, right?
It's a stop.
Yeah, we've all worked jobs like that. Like,
yeah, well, we don't all behave rudely as she does, though.
That's true.
Yeah, but Nate comes in as a prick.
Not from day one. Not from day one.
I think as soon as, but then again, also maybe like maybe she actually genuinely just likes him, and she just sort of.
He does like bash off the door as he
of,
comes in and does the whole pratfall sort of stuff.
Mm.
And
maybe she genuinely likes him, and she thinks if I'm a bit of an arsehole to him, maybe he'll actually like. I
don't think that's it at all. I think she's.
Me and keep him keen, Joe.
Does that work for him?
It never worked for me. But and I'm an arsehole, so I'd know if it did. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I do think she's like she seems. I don't know. She seems like she genuinely does like Nate, but her thing is just I'm just gonna be rude to you to see if you're still nice to me.
See, I think it was just that I want to break through that bullshit.
But then at this point,
to the actual Nate that's in there.
Yeah, at this point, I think she's not being nice to him and putting him down to basically sort of ground him and realize they're on the same level. He's not above her because he's a football manager and he's walking in with a supermodel.
He's still working for someone else.
He's still that awkward lad who come in and was like bumbling through his words, trying to get like a nice table.
And you couldn't get the nice table until you're in a gauze on the mirror.
Well, I got a bunch of, Jade jokes, and now they're not going to work because you guys disagree. So, and they're really good too.
Oh, let's hear them. Come on.
Well, in this, I called her a charmless, lifeless, robotic NPC because she just, there's no charisma. There's absolutely no life there happening at all.
No, but again, have you ever worked front of house, man? You got to just switch your brain off. And
I worked with customers for 30 years. I know what it's like to put on a face, but this chick doesn't have a face. She is just all the time.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Maybe America and England, I think, may be different because I get led to my seat by someone whose face is essentially a pink balloon a lot of the time because they put nothing of themselves into it, and I don't want that.
She's Polish as well, isn't she?
I don't think if we know that.
Do we ever get her last name?
I don't know, but I'm sure she mentioned she's Polish and like later on in the season, and I think maybe it's just like because like European people are very sort of like blunt, aren't they? Like they make the joke about Yanmas, and maybe it's just that, like just the European side of it.
It could be. So
maybe she's just cool as fuck.
She could be that too.
Mm-hmm.
Just come across that way.
So anyway, they're trying.
Goes in. Yeah, this scene of Nate being slowly humiliated over time.
Yeah, they're trying to get a table, and he tells her. She tries to sit them down. He says he wants to win.
You've got to go and get Derek and his turkey teeth out the back. Like,
I like how Derek comes out, and he calls him.
He also says Wonder Kid. Yeah.
No. He calls him Nate Jelly, but he says Wonderkind. He got that part right.
No,
but he called him
Wonder Kids.
I went back and listened. Yeah, okay. I found it funny. He got that right, but he called him Nate Jelly instead of Shelly.
So
he's having. I'm like the one guy that can get it right, and Nate doesn't care if he gets it right because he's a.
Yeah, you can go and sit on this high street in where is it, like Bermondsey or something like. You can see like there's a big. You can see on the back end there is like a huge planter where they've just planted some trees. Like, it's not a fun place to sit. But as this meal goes on, Nate gets back into my good books again.
Yeah.
And it's a very subtle feed back in. And I don't know whether because they juxtaposed him against a woman who is now like she's just a person.
Mm-hmm. He mentions the baklava is divine.
Yeah, but it's that bit when he goes, the baklava is divine. And
Jade's pouring the water and she's like laughing at him.
And Jade just goes and gives a very
I think that's the thing though. I feel like in this moment she's trying to ground him because he's trying to be like Billy Big Bollocks. He's being very.
He spots it, doesn't he? But also,
and
he's realised that he's brought an international supermodel
to his little
what
family.
we know is a shit Greek restaurant.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well. He's talking to her, like going, "Look, this is where like a lot of big moments in my life have happened here. This restaurant
All
means
my
a lot
weddings,
to me.
Anniversaries, everything have happened here." And she goes, "Feed me some bread sexily."
Yeah, and
then she can't even choose some little bit of pita and some hummus. Like,
yeah, she hates it. She doesn't give a shit about Nate's. Like, again, it's all like the whole influencer bollocks. It's just they're just there.
I cannot take pictures of this. It looks like sick. Other people will be sick if they look at my sick.
She just wants to be like seen with a football manager for like the papers. She doesn't give a fuck.
Well, that's a Rupert, isn't it? Rupert's put her on to it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's Nate's
it would
not
have been
made
better if she was a sex worker. He could have at least got his end away.
But he's not like this. I think this is what makes him realize he's not made for this life.
It was the thing that I generally thought that he thought, Nate, because he's so naive, thought that he could bring an international supermodel to his local shitty Greek taverna and be like, this is where it's at. Like, because he's got nothing else beyond that.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you that Nate is he's more grounded than we thought he completely gone off the rails, but he's not completely. Not completely.
No.
So we go from that to back to the dog track. Keeley sends Rebecca a pic of the lamb and says she won't be coming to the game. It's a long story. And then Rebecca gets a text from the doc who says that he has the results. He'll call her after the game. Higgins joins Rebecca to tell her about Zava, and the guys are on the pitch. Colin is starting.
I'll call you after the game. Go Richmond.
Yeah, he's a fan. He's a fan. You can't fault him for that.
I don't want that from my medical professional.
Well, he's not your medical professional.
No, he's a fictional character. I get
maybe, maybe it's more that he just knows that she's going to be busy.
Yeah, we're pro doctor, Joe. Get over it.
I'm more pro. Just rub some moss on it. You be right.
Higgins joins Rebecca to tell her about Zava. The guys are on the pitch, and Colin is starting for Zava. Colin's looking a little lost out there. He didn't expect to be playing at all. Chris and Arlo are not on board with this. Neither Zava nor any of his people are answering their phones, which, of course, is a bad sign. Beard says neither his agent, his manager, his publicist, his trainer, his acupuncturist, his acupressurist, his fecalist, his avocado whisperer, or even his barber. Ted says maybe he's dead. Roy says fucking better be.
Yeah, if you can't get the poo doctor, he best be dead.
Keely's back in the office. She's baby talking real sweet to the lamb. The handler's there to pick it up.
Oh, this guy! I forgot about this guy.
Yep.
He's the same guy. And he's like, she promised me I could date a celebrity. So I always wanted to just be like, no cameras. And then Keeley tries to give him a bit of life advice. Oh, maybe it's about the person that's inside you and not the person. And I was just like, this is just a very nice little bit.
Well, you get that. She says, Edward, God loves someone for who they are, well, for what they are, not who they are, right? And Jack says, and here's a giant bag of shit. Like they immediately after
all those lamb raisins as well.
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
awful lot of them.
They've lit candles to try and kill the smell. Now it smells like someone took a dump directly into a pumpkin spice latte. That's another good line by Jack. I appreciate that. And they decide to drink Shandy's word vodka. And Jack goes, "Where'd you find that?" She's like, "On her desk."
On her desk.
Why would she hide it?
She's just got half a bottle of vodka on her desk at all times.
And then we're doing a little bit of back and forth. We're back to the restaurant. We do the bit you guys just mentioned about Anastassia not being at all happy. And, we see Jade, who I call Jade the AI because there's just no life there. I'm not taking it back. I'm not taking it back.
Is Jade your Ted's kid for me?
It's possible. So
Is
I don't
Jade
know.
your Henry? Jade's your Henry.
I thought Tom doesn't like Henry's acting either.
I'm not a big fan
Well, that
of it.
means you just hate robots.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, listen, J-Droid sees this as well. She sees, that was a good one. Jade sees Anastassia leave.
You get one.
Derek comes out and says, "Sorry, mate, still got to charge you for the booze," which is a callback to when he said,
Yeah.
"Your money's no good here.
Of his wine.
Your money's no good here, but I got to charge you for the booze." Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So he sits there and just drinks a bottle of red wine on his own, which is one like a lot of the most fun nights I've had in my life, but also way more sad nights of my life. I think for Nate, this is his first big. Oh, being a big shot isn't all it's cracked up to be because I've got no one. Also, when Anastassia left, she was picked up by a car playing Waiting Up Before You Go. And I hope they all went and sprayed petrol on each other and set themselves on fire while going for orange mocha frappuccinos.
Like in Zoolander.
Like in Zoolander.
Yeah. All right. It's not funny if everyone else noticed it wasn't fun.
I'm not a fan of Zoolander.
The first one's great. The second one is absolute howling dog shit.
I refuse to watch the second one.
I watched it under duress. I
was already tricked by Anchorman 2. I can't be tricked by Zoolander 2.
I like Anchorman 2. It's basically the same one, but louder and more close up to you.
And longer.
Anyway, let's finish this, please.
It's not gone well for the guys because they have now lost. They lost 4-0. Arlo says the Richmond Ahabs are still unable to catch their great blue whale, and without Zava, we're left wondering if this team even belongs in the Premier League. Chris says, well, without Zava, this team doesn't belong in my church league, Arlo. It's actually a competitive league with some very talented clergy. I freaking love that line.
Wow.
And the fan from the opening salvo of this episode is back yelling, boo. You're all a bunch of fucking wankers. McAdoo, you are shit. Without Zava, you're shit. Even with Zava, you're shit.
Isaac looked like he was going to kill that man.
I swear to God, I want him to run up and rip his spine out.
Yeah. Full cancer
now. Well, not full cancer. More for full sort
give
of...
a call back to your reference before.
I know, but can't I just hoofed a fat racist in the face?
Terrible.
That's true.
I want McAdoo to rip this gammon's spine out and present it to himself. So, anyway.
Predator style. In Rebecca's office, she gets a text from Higgins who sends her a link about Zava contemplating retirement.
I swear to God, Higgins has got little emoticons of himself. Sad face.
Yep. That's really good. Then her doc calls, and the guy's doing nothing but talking about the game. She wants him to get to it, and he gives her the news that she can't have kids. It's a big moment. We talked about Hannah Wadham earlier. This is a wonderful moment. The look on her face is, I wrote that she's gutted. Is she? Like, she kind of looks like, I don't know how to process this right now. Do you know?
I think she is, because obviously, like, the whole thing was she wanted kids and Rupert didn't want kids, and then Rupert cheated on her, left her, and first thing he did was have a baby.
Virus, dusty rope up a lady's chuff, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's very well done that she's like looks like her world's falling apart, but also because of all the kind of like psychic stuff, and obviously the first thing is you're going to be the thing that like made her think this is bullshit is you're going to be a mother, and then she's got this test done after all these signs, and then it's like kind of disprove, like it's poured cold water on everything the psychic told her.
Yeah, 100%, and it's all done with an emotional wipe of the face. It's so good. And then she picks up the phone and calls Keeley.
That
Her
transition.
one friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keely's not answering because she's with Jack. Keely and Jack are about to have a moment. Looking back on this, the first time you guys watched season 3, did you see this coming? Did you think it was leading to this?
They sort of like alluded to it at the middle of the episode, where Keely's talking to Barbara, and then Jack just pops up, and Keely's like, "Oh!" like gets a bit flustered, like as if, "Oh, maybe there's something there." But it did happen quite quick. But obviously, that's because they drank a bottle of vodka together.
A half bottle of vodka, warm vodka, which is the best kind of vodka you can drink.
It sure is.
I also like the fact that Jack was like, "Yeah, I was raised in the." Keely goes, "What's it? Do you want some ice and some dehydrated orange slices?"
Orange slices, yeah.
Yeah. And she just goes, "No." It just necks some and then just goes, "Slap." And I was like, "Yeah, I like Jack." I felt this bit. I don't know with the kiss.
And plus, Keely instigated it. Jack did not, which was not what I saw coming.
Yeah, that surprised me because it was very much that, like, all right, well, there's obviously a reason Jack's sticking around. Maybe Jackson's a Keely, and then obviously this happened, and it was like, oh, looks like Keely's more into Jack than we thought.
And there was a couple of looks by Jack when she left the room. You could kind of tell.
It's those bits where they're talking about,
yeah,
"Oh, you had sex with a clown," and like they're talking about the previous sexual conquest. But again, I've never done with another human being. I don't want to talk about all the times I was shit at sex, which is every time. I've got a reputation to maintain now. I can't get good at it.
I didn't see the word maintain coming out of your mouth. Following the words, I got a reputation to. I didn't see the word maintain coming out.
No.
So that was different. Back at the restaurant, Robo Jade has brought baklava for
swear
to the
God,
table.
I will not.
That's a good one. Come on. That's a good one. She's brought baklava for 2 to the table. I mean, okay, sure. Like as if you didn't see what happened.
Also, did you see how much baklava was on that plate?
My God, it was like 4 people.
Bits of baklava.
I mean, to be fair, I think this bringing that is like her olive branch because she knows Nate's not going to have to pay for it because Derek's already said it's on only the booze. You got to charge him for the booze. But also she got onto him like bigging up this dish to Anastassia. And she like had like that little smile. Like I think this is her kind of like realizing Nate's too Nate to kind of realize that there's someone who's actually interested in right in front of him.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that
I've always thought that Nate was obsessed with her.
Maybe he was, but again, like
everything he's ever done has been to show off to her that he's a powerful man.
But I don't think obsess is the right word.
I think it is very
he took an international supermodel to a shitty Greek taverna to impress the girl
not
who
shitty
hands
to him.
Them.
No, I don't think he did it to impress her. I think he did it because he talks about to Anastassia when she's saying it's shit. He talks about like
all his loves and hopes.
This place is really important to me. Like that's why I thought I'd bring you here because it's somewhere that means a lot to me. And while Anastassia thinks it's shit, obviously Jade wants to give him her time when she brings it over, and then
she just sees him. I think she just sees him sitting there on his own, drinking red wine in the corner. And I've been in that situation, and no one attractive has ever come over to me.
But it is very much. It does very much feel like she's just extending an olive branch, bringing that over.
Oh,
Yeah, she makes the little
It's
joke
like-
about like him saying it's divine,
It's divine.
and then he starts joking and he realizes, oh, it's this.
But I think it's because he's gone. She's broke him down, and he is like,
Well,
"Oh, she's an actual person I can talk to."
I think the whole reason why she's like the way she is with him is because it's to make Nate realize he shouldn't be taking himself too seriously, which is his whole big flaw going into the West Ham thing was that he took himself too seriously because he bought into his own bullshit. She's brought him down to earth. He doesn't take himself too seriously. The first thing he does when she brings the baklava over is self-depreciating humor, and then it's like, boom, we got Nate back.
Yeah,
It's true.
So yeah,
I can't all on my own. And would you join me? Well, it is delicious.
and then they have a lovely time eating divine baklava.
Mm-hmm. I mean, who
It
knows?
looked like
Jay
some
could
very dry baklava.
Jay could potentially turn into a real girl here after all. Who knows? We'll see. In Ted's office, Beard and Roy are talking as Ted is looking at the pyramid on the wall, and you can hear Beard saying, "The only modicum of comfort is knowing that in all the innumerable parallel universes, there is not one where we win that game." I found humor in that.
I've just realized as well, just to go back to that Jade thing, it's a fucking She's All That reference.
Yeah.
Fucking girl next door, hair tied
Yeah.
back. They keep talking about it all episode. Nate goes from being with the supermodel to girl next door. Boom.
She
Those
doesn't
smart
take her glasses
motherfuckers.
off in the episode, but later on she
Well
does.
done.
Yes.
Well done. Yeah, well done. I'm not a
Anyway.
rom-com guy, so I totally missed that.
Mm.
It's
Ooh,
only
this-
because they kept bringing up She's All That throughout the show.
That's true. Ted begins to have a panic attack. He has that sort of the ringing in his ears. Henry calls, and Roy and Beard leave so he can talk to him. And
Also,
Henry tells
bonus points for like Roy and everyone just going. And when Ted goes, "Can you? It's Henry. Can you leave?" Yeah, you deal with that.
Yeah.
Just
Go talk to the
like-
team.
little bits.
and Henry tells him he messed up, said, "If I just followed your advice, none of this would have happened. If you're angry, count to 10. If that don't work, do it again." Ted says, "Well, that's something my dad used to say." Then Nana would tell him that numbers were infinite, so she could just deal with his snoring.
Yeah.
So Henry tells him that he did an apology rap for Doug in front of the whole class.
Fucking hell.
Look, that is Ted's son. An apology rap, that is Ted's son for sure. And
My name is Ted Son, and I'm here to say I'm going to apologize to you in an unusual way.
no,
I
terrible.
hate it.
We hope it's better than that. Ted says hip hop
yeah,
songs
he
are great.
was-
Can't act for shit, so we wouldn't have seen it.
Oh, good point. Yeah, that poor kid. That kid's going to win an Oscar one day when he grows up, and we're all going to be sitting here going, "How'd this happen?"
If it does, I will be the first man to pop a horn into his hat. I just don't think I think he's going to just die unloved under a bridge.
Jesus. Well, either way, you're on the record now. So
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
for
fine.
God, delete that.
Ted says never. Ted says a hip hop song is a great way to get across a message. Just look at the hip hop song. The message. Higgins and
Yo,
Trent come
first
into the locker room, and Colin asks if it's true about Zava. He says yes, and Danny is bawling like a little girl that had her ice cream took away from her. Are you kidding me?
It's good.
I love Danny. Oh my God. They show the
Danny
video.
is the emotional heart of that locker room.
He is. They show the Zava video. I have something to share with you, my friends. You're not my followers. You're my believers. And so I have to tell you, Zava has played his last match. I'll now dedicate all of my time and all my energy to my family and my avocado farm. If you put energy into the things you truly love, the universe puts its thing back into you. You're welcome. And for the first time, the players are like, I'm not buying this. None of them. Like
No,
they're-
he's abandoned them. He's abandoned them.
he's abandoned them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that
Jamie
note-
steps up.
Do you want the
Oh.
finals? Fun fact.
Yes.
Finals, that's it.
That I've literally kept for Joe just because I thought this
I love
is the one to end it on.
Anchorage.
So at the age of 15, Zlatan was close to quitting his football career in favor of a career of working at the docks in Malmo.
Yep, he should have done it.
He preferred it to that. However, his manager ended up convincing him that he could be like his hero, Ronaldo, aka Fat Ronaldo, if he stuck at it. And then he surpassed him.
That guy.
Should have stayed in the dock.
He could have been 15? A dock legend like me.
Yeah.
15. I mean, at 15, you gotta do a lot of work to get up to dock legend.
A lot of dock work.
He
nearly did.
I did like this moment because
it's good. I appreciate that.
Ted is he has visions of Henry going down the escalator in the airport, and then he slows his.
Right. Is that like a reference to? Oh shit! I can't remember the name of. Never mind. Sorry.
We'll never know.
I think I know what you mean, but I can't.
Spanish horror film with the girls in the red jacket as she goes down the stairs.
Oh!
Don't look now! Don't look now!
Yeah. Could have been.
I was thinking a rom-com.
Go back. Anyway, sorry. Right.
I was thinking it would have been a rom-com reference, if nothing else.
It could have been, but it also could have been a reference to. Anyway, sorry.
He's slowing his breathing. You can tell that the sessions with Dr. Sharon are going well. He's learning techniques. He's whispering, "You're okay. Or he's okay. He's okay." Finally,
okay.
He calms down. He comes out to talk to the team. He basically tells them, "This is what kills me." Basically, to sum it up, we'll get him next time. He's just going to leave. And again, Jay, back to what we were talking about earlier, you're not getting the problem. These guys need you. Your owner needs you. But
yeah,
you know what I mean?
So I think that there's a lot of stuff that happens in this scene that's kind of like it starts things. So during Zava's retirement speech, there's the bit where Jamie like looks at Roy and Roy looks at Jamie, and it's like this is like it's like an unspoken thing of Roy kind of saying to Jamie, "This is your time to like fill the void that Zava's leading. You're the star now."
That was the bit that I wanted to say, but we never got to it when Zava sends that video in, and there's just a quick look from Roy to Jamie, and he
and then you can see Roy's just done with Zava's shit at this point as well. And then it's like Ted at first, he obviously kind of comes out and he's like, "Look, guys, we'll get him next time." I think he's in his head, he's thinking, let's take a moment to sort of step away from everything and like reassess, which is a smart way to do it. It's not necessarily the most positive way to do it for sure, but it is a smart way to do it. And then obviously we see the believe sign kind of falls down and everyone freaks out. And then that's where Ted gives that brilliant speech where
it's so good.
Oh, it's awesome. He rips the sign up. Yeah, and he tears it up again. Basically saying that they've got the belief within each other if they work as a team. And then I think that as well though, like again, it's the whole like kind of like signs thing where that happens, and then Ted kind of realizes, you know what, I actually need to like I need to take leadership here. I need to say something that's gonna inspire these guys and fire them up and get them ready to claw it back. I think that's where he's obviously he says that, and then he's like, "Right, we'll see you on Monday," and that's when it's like
mid-season rebound.
Yeah,
belief doesn't just happen because you hang something up on a wall.
Mm-hmm. That's the catalyst.
Comes in here, and in here, and down here. The only problem. We've all got so much junk throwing flu. But I can't do the whole thing because I can't. I haven't prepared it. But It's a really good speech, and it's that thing where Ted is like, Ted's back on board.
Yeah.
And Ted's cursing. He says shit and hell.
Oh, he says shit.
Yeah.
He does do a swear. Yeah. No
Which
swearing.
Whenever Ted swears, like things.
You know it's getting serious. Yeah, like.
You know he's at his most serious when he does a swear.
He does say shit. Yeah. I think it cuts away and it shocks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a couple of things, but also the other thing to notice, obviously, because he was about to have a panic attack, but his hair, perfect.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
he's under control. Him saying that is just like him managing the situation and realizing I've got to take this by the horns and just kind of tell him as it is.
And as he's speaking, we see a nice little montage of there's Keeley and Jack making out. Rebecca's in the car looking at the matchbook. Nate and Jade 3PO are having baklava, so that's nice. So, come on, it's good. I like that one. And
like that one.
It's a great little speech, man.
I'll give you those two. They were good.
Saying.
They were good.
So,
they were good.
yeah.
They were good jokes.
And that to your point, Jay, that sums it up. His strength as a character is, I believe in you. That's his strength. His strength is, I believe in you and don't sell yourself short. You're important. I will make you feel important. That is his strength. And he does it for everyone he comes in contact. He would have done it for Rupert if given the opportunity. If Rupert had anything that was remotely salvageable in his personality, Ted would have found it and brought it out. Rupert had nothing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Wonderful. That there's your episode, kids. Episode 5 is in the can, almost. We end with Jamie saying, tomorrow 4 a.m. Roy says, damn fucking right.
He's ready. He, like Jamie, wants to go out and be a world killer.
He wants the ball.
Yeah.
He wants the ball. Again, it's pardon my NBA, my constant, endless deluge of NBA references on the show. But the best players will tell you, if you don't want the ball, don't be on the court. What do you mean you don't want the ball? Like, it's Steve Austin. What do you mean you don't want to be champion? Then why are you here? Like, it's the same mentality. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, as well, if you think with Jamie's whole, like, kind of, like, story, it's where he came into Richmond as, like, a big fish in a small pond, went back to City, left, and then he came back to Richmond very much humbled. And now he's out to prove I'm as good as I was saying I was 3 years ago. But I'm going to do it the right way, and I'm going to prove it by my actions on the pitch, not by my attitude.
Wonderful.
And it just excuse me, it takes Roy kind of getting in his head about it, saying you can be the best player in the league, you can be better than Zava, but you got to work for it.
Sexy carrot.
You could.
The most slithery of the boys.
On that note, biggest takeaways from this episode, Joe. What do you think?
This episode it's kind of a now episode, but it's one of those. I don't want to say that it's a now episode for Ted Lasso because that degrades them to being a nothing episode. Whereas this has a lot of good stuff in them. It's just nothing pivots in this episode. Nothing changes. But it builds up the stories, and that's enough sometimes.
As Joe said, a lot of stuff kind of builds up the story. There's nothing pivotal that happens other than obviously Zaba, but there's a lot of kind of heading in the direction that it needs to be going to sort of like start the next sort of phase of stories in the series off. And also a lot of stuff to like toward the end point as well. But it is very much like as I say, planting a few seeds, a few things kind of developing. It's not a monumental happens, but everything is happening for a reason. And
maybe I don't recall what happens in number 6, but I think this is the we've already kind of mentioned Nate's coming back around again, not to spoil anything, but like this episode really.
Number 6 is the episode that's going to be the first one. I'm going to have to split over 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, could be.
Because this is going to be big.
It's Amsterdam, baby.
It is Amsterdam. Long episode.
Long episode.
Long episode and a very good episode, and we're going to have to work out how we do it.
I think it's my favorite episode.
Well,
you're wrong, but also you're a grotesquely ugly freak.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kids, we have sufficiently teased number 6. We got to save Joe and put him to bed now. So we appreciate everybody out there watching, subscribing, following the show. And don't shake your head at me. At Two Nations Pod on all the socials. Be sure you follow us, share the show with your friends. Thanks for coming along on the ride. We've only got 7 more left, and then a wrap-up episode, and then we are done. And we will finally move on to the next show, of which we have not decided. But I will tell you this, as we have recorded this episode, things are starting. Things are starting to happen. I can't even make it out. Things are starting to happen in the ether on the socials. Little whispers, maybe, of Ted Lasso something happening. Look, we've all 3 said there's no point in this.
Nick Mohammed's being a menace on social media again.
He's just doing dickhead shit. There's no.
But there's also stuff independently of that he's latched onto. Maybe he's just having fun. But we've all 3 said a spinoff show without Sudeikis, if they've got the right cast, if it's with an African team, we'd be here for it. Brazil, maybe something with a new cast of characters.
I'm going to be here for it. I
think I'm okay with it.
My mouth.
I think I'm okay with it. I don't have to, brother. We got a vault here of episodes. People can go back and listen. So, all right, kids, that's it for us. We're getting out of here. Thanks much again for following, for checking us out, for subscribing and downloading. Please share the show wherever you can. Go to boinkstudios.com to check us out. You'll find all the links to all the rest of our podcasts collectively are there. So go have a visit, bookmark the site today, and we will see you next time. For Joe and Jay, I'm Tom. See you next time, kids.